Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. I have another Power Rangers review for you today. This is the Legacy Collection set or wave that is the suits from the new upcoming Power Rangers movie. So as you can see here we have red, pink, blue, black, yellow, and then hiding behind red we have Alpha. He is the 6th in this wave, and of course they put him with the core of the Megazord Build-A-Fig, so you have to buy him even if you may not want him. Previously I was kind of on the fence about these because I had already picked up the 5-inch figures. And I did know these were coming, but I didn't know they were coming with the Build-A-Fig Megazord parts. I thought they might just come with some accessories, kind of like the one that was the NYCC exclusive Red Ranger. Just came with like a sword and a power coin, I think. So for the longest time, we didn't know the Build-A-Fig Megazord parts were coming with these, so I kind of went ahead and bought the 5-inch figures, and then these came out, and I kind of kicked myself. But Toys R Us was having a good deal this week where they were buy one, get one half off. So I decided to take the plunge and pick them up. They do look nice, though. I have to say, they really do look nice. Packaging's pretty standard, what we've come to expect from the Legacy Collection. Alpha has the Red Ranger again, just so you can see him poking out back there. All the rest of them have the Ranger that they are, so that corresponds, which is nice. Yeah, but they don't really... I think red... Yeah, red comes with a power sword. The others don't come with any accessories, just the Build-A-Fig parts. So you can see that through there. But yeah. So I think they're really cool. The Build-A-Fig Megazord looks really nice, which is ultimately what got me to cave and pick these up. So without further ado, let's get them out of the packaging and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so here are the 6 figures out of the packaging. I'm going to start with Alpha first. Real quick, I'm going to bring in the 5-inch Alpha. They're very similar. I'm not going to say they're the exact same toy because obviously this is better. But if I had known this was going to exist, I would not have bought this. Again, what are you going to do? Hindsight's 20/20. But I would say to you, if you're planning on getting these and you have not picked this up yet, then I would not. I would just get this one. But as you can see, there's some nice paint here in the head where the kind of eye stalks come out. I really like this kind of greenish yellow paint. It's a little textured right there. And obviously you can see the dome. This is kind of colored, but this is definitely a little bit darker blue. This is almost kind of the same gray, but this is kind of a bluish. This is on a ball joint, so this can go up and down, all the way around. This one just moves from side to side. The shoulder joints are pretty much the same as the 5-inch. The elbow joints are the same, but now the hands are on a ball joint, whereas these hands didn't move at all. These are kind of, they can go all the way around, and they can, there's kind of a thigh, so there's a joint like the shoulder where it can go in and out, but it's hindered because of the legs and the angles and everything. And it can definitely go up and down. And then there's also a swivel underneath that, kind of like a thigh swivel. So there is a decent amount of articulation in there. It's just hindered by the way the hips are, so that's a bit of a bummer. You have pretty much, well, not quite 90 degrees in the knee, but it's also because his knees bend a little weird. And then you have a ball joint in the foot. So this one has pretty much the same knee joint, but no foot articulation. So this is definitely a better figure, no doubt about it. I just definitely think if you're lucky enough to know ahead of time, don't buy this one, just get this one. Because they're not different enough that you need both, but this is definitely the superior figure. Plus, he comes with the torso of the Build-A-Fig Megazord, so they knew what they were doing. I would have much rather this had been like a Rita or a Goldar or something for the 6.5 Legacy line, but no big deal. And like I said, it's definitely a nice figure. It definitely looks good. I just feel like it's not so different from the 5-inch one to justify having both. But it's definitely a nice figure. I'm going to put him off to the side. Take a look at red first. And again, just for fun, here is the 5-inch one. Definitely, you can see this is kind of that translucent metallic paint because it's from, or plastic, I should say, not paint, because it's from that Target 6-pack. This is more of a matte red, but I definitely like both. I think they both have their place. You can see there's some extra paint here on the knee, extra paint on the arms, a little bit more paint in the midsection, although I have to say the paint on this one's midsection is pretty good. Turning it over to the back, this has paint, this has virtually no paint on the back. So that's just a quick comparison there. But it's pretty much the standard 6.5 legacy figure articulation. You have the up and down in the ankle as well as the side to side. You have the 2 joints in the knee. You have the thigh swivel. You have the out to the side and front to back. You have waist swivel. You have the ab crunch. You have the shoulder that can go out. And you can hear nice ratchets there. Up and down. 2 joints in the elbow. And then the standard kind of weird ball joint for the wrist, so that the actual wrist itself is on a ball joint, as well as a hinge that can go from side to side. So, I mean, if you have any of these, you're familiar with that articulation. But he doesn't have a bicep swivel, which is kind of a bummer. I have to assume it's because of this shoulder piece right here that's kind of molded on. They would have had to do the... Well, I mean, I guess they could have done the bicep swivel here, but I feel like they thought it would look weird, so they would have had to do it below that piece, but that's kind of too close to the elbow joint, so I'm guessing that's just why they just figured better not do it at all, because they didn't want to compromise the plastic integrity. I mean, I have to assume that's the reason. There's really no other reason not to include it. But I mean, that makes sense to me. I understand they don't want to give you a bicep swivel and the next thing you know, your arm is breaking or something because it's too close to the elbow, something like that. Now, he does come with a power sword. He's the only one to come with an accessory. They all come with Build-A-Figure Megazord pieces, but he's the only one that comes with a weapon. It's okay. It's not super different from, you know, what we've seen before. It just has a little bit of red paint on here. Otherwise, mostly the solid, translucent, bluish-green color. But I like it. I think it looks good. Overall, I think the figure does look good. The paint applications that we get are really nice. The only thing I could possibly complain about is the bicep swivel, but like I said, I understand why it's that way. I think I did say the head goes up and down is also side to side. But it's a good looking figure. All the paint apps we get are really nice. It definitely looks nice. Red and blue, yeah, red and blue. Blue and black are kind of the same mold, except for the heads. You can see Billy has a little crest, which is kind of cool. I really like this figure. It's just a really striking, beautiful blue color. The gray and the lighter blue really complement it. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Definitely one of my favorites. Articulation point's exactly the same from red. Really looks nice, though. Like that a lot. Same thing with black. I think the silver and the blue complement the black really well. This helmet is pretty nice. Unfortunately, the visor does kind of blend into the helmet. That's kind of a bummer. But the silver looks good. He's the exact same articulation as red and blue. But a good looking figure nonetheless. Now for the 2 girls, obviously you can tell they are thinner. They do get a bicep swivel, so go figure. I mean, the shoulder bit is definitely smaller on the girls, so maybe it just allowed for more space. Otherwise, pretty much the same. They only have 1 elbow articulation, but that's kind of common for girls in this line. Waist, ab crunch, that's all the same. Hips, thigh swivel, 2 joints in the knee. Their feet are super tiny. Like, really super tiny. Like, look at, compared to a boy's foot. Come on now. That's crazy. It's like half the size. That does make it a little bit difficult at times for them to stand. Not terrible. Luckily, they don't have as much weight, so they don't need as big of a foot to kind of distribute the weight of the figure. But I would have liked the foot to have been a little bit bigger. I feel like it could have. They kind of look comically small, in my opinion. And it kind of looks a little strange. But otherwise, articulation, very nice. Like I said, you only get 1 joint in the elbow, but you do get the bicep swivel to make up for it. Otherwise, pretty much the same as the boys. Everything else is the same. Paint on the back looks nice. You can see the ab crunch there. Kind of make sure you line it up like that. But yeah, I like it a lot. The helmet, I think, looks good. Same kind of up and down movement in the head. Trini's is a little tight, but it's funny. Some joints are really tight. Some joints are kind of looser. They're not bad, though. I mean, the joints that are kind of loose don't show it. Like, when you move them, it's very easy to do. Oh, she's falling over. Like I said, she has some trouble standing with those feet, which is kind of a bummer. You kind of want to lean them forward a little bit just to distribute the weight. But then taking a look at Kim's head, I really love the look of this figure. The pink on this is just a perfect color pink. It really pops. I love the pterodactyl helmet. I like the crest in the back, looks great. The way these kind of swoop in from the sides. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer here on this helmet. Really, really like that a lot. Really nice. And like I said, I just love this color pink. It really pops. I like it a lot. Again, she has the tiny feet, which makes it a little difficult for her to stand. But otherwise, I think the female figures work really well. I like them a lot. I love the articulation. I like the look of them. I appreciate they don't have skirts, so it doesn't hinder their leg articulation at all. Really, really nice figures. I guess I'll just do real quick close-ups of all the helmets just so you can see. I love that crest in the back. And then we'll take a look at blacks real quick, but it's kind of hard to see just because the colors kind of blend together. But overall, I really like all 6 of these figures. Like I said, I'm kind of bummed that the Alpha is very similar to the 5-inch figure. I feel like when you put the 5-inch Ranger figures up against the 6-inch counterparts, you can tell the difference. Like, there's definitely more paint, there's definitely more articulation, the weapons are definitely more detailed. It makes sense. But with the Alpha, it's very similar. To the point that I can understand having both versions of the Rangers, but the Alpha, it's kind of like, eh. But like I said, these are definitely great figures. So if you haven't picked up the 5-inch, if you were waiting to grab these, or if you're on the fence about you want to buy one or the other, I would definitely grab these. These are the better figures. Yes, they're a little bit more expensive, but you can find a sale or something like that. I definitely think these are the better figures. Do you need both? Probably not. If you haven't bought either set yet, I would definitely go for these if you're on a budget. The 5-inch ones are perfectly valuable, or perfectly viable alternative because they're definitely nice figures for the price and the size. But obviously, these are going to be better figures. They're more expensive, they're bigger. They just, you know, they can put more articulation into them and things like that. So, really nice set of figures here, though. I really like them a lot. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the parts of the Build-A-Fig Megazord, and we'll assemble that and take a look. So here's a whole bunch of Megazord pieces. I just thought it would be fun to assemble it. It's very easy to do. You can see the socket joints and the ball joints here. So you just want to go ahead and pop that on. And the blue and black Rangers come with the 2 legs. So once you get that going, make sure that's nice and on, and you can swivel that so it stands a little better. And then the arms are going to pop on very similarly. So you can already see, boom, you've got your pretty much your Megazord here. Turning them around to the back, you have the wings that came with the Pink Ranger. And you're just going to pop them into these big square sockets on the back. Very easy to do. The nice thing is they even have like a little notch, as you can see, so you can't put them in backwards. I appreciate that. I guess it would be more upside down because you can't really put them in backwards. But yes, here is your finished Build-A-Fig Megazord, and I have to say, it looks nice. I think it's funny that in the movie you don't really have like the head of the Zords down here for the feet. You just have these kind of like melted metal bits. That's got to be what it's going to look like in the movie because, you know, for the interactive Megazord and this Megazord figure where you don't have to actually turn them into Zords, they don't break down, this is kind of what they go with. I don't know. I probably would have preferred just to have the heads like of the Mastodon and the Triceratops down here. That's me personally. But the rest of it looks fantastic. You have a ball joint in both shoulders. You have 90-degree bend in the elbow. No wrist or anything articulation. Ball joint in the hip, 90-degree bend in the knee, and then the feet can only swivel. They can't go up and down, move around. They just swivel. So, and you don't have any kind of rotation underneath the knee or above the knee or anything like that. So you kind of just have to situate the legs and the knees and the feet and everything so that he just stands there. You can kind of bend the knees a little bit if you like, and then get a cool pose with the arms. But overall, he looks nice. The head can swivel just from side to side. It cannot tilt back. So the Build-A-Fig Megazords always have less articulation than the figures. That's to be expected. But it definitely looks nice. I like I never bought the interactive Megazord, but I like having a kind of movie-accurate figure in this size, and then having the giant Megazord that you can actually take apart and combine into the Zord. So it's kind of nice to have a movie-accurate representation of the Megazord, but in this size class, I don't need one larger. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's nicer to just have this representation in a manageable size class, and I think they did a great job with the paint and the detail. I would have loved a little bit more articulation, mostly like in the thighs maybe, or maybe a bicep swivel, but the male figures don't have bicep swivels either, so what are you going to do? But definitely looks great. Like I said, would have liked a little bit more articulation, but it's kind of standard at this point that the Build-A-Fig Megazords don't really have as much articulation as the figures, so not really worth complaining about. I think he looks great. I really, really do. I don't really know what else I can say about it. He just looks really, really nice. So these 6 figure sets are really nice, I have to say. I don't really have much to complain about. Nice amount of articulation. Paint is nice. Build-A-Fig is really, really cool. Like I said, if I was nitpicking, you know, the bicep swivel missing from the guys is probably the biggest complaint. It's not a huge deal breaker, but if you're looking for something to complain about, would be awesome if the Build-A-Fig Megazord had a little bit more articulation. But like I said, he's got the standard amount of articulation that the Build-A-Figs usually have. And the fact that the Alpha's not leaps and bounds better than the 5-inch figure. But I understand with Alpha, because he's smaller, he doesn't really need a whole ton of articulation. It doesn't really make sense. I mean, sure, I guess they could have put little bicep swivels or thigh swivels or something. I mean, we do kind of have thigh swivels. They just don't really see them that much because they kind of blend in, and because of the way the hips are, they kind of get lost. But they are there. And like I said, I feel like he's got the amount of articulation that he needs. Like I said, if I didn't already have the 5-inch figure, I wouldn't buy it after getting this, because this is the Alpha figure that, I mean, technically, really, all of these are the definitive movie versions of these figures, and if you get these, you probably don't need any other version. But if you're on a budget, and, you know, you just want something that can be a, you know, like a fine figure for the price, the 5-inch figures are definitely a viable alternative. They're nice figures as well. These are going to be better, though. They're more expensive. They can put more love into them. It makes sense. So, I think these are great figures. I think the Build-A-Fig Megazord looks fantastic. At this point, I'm just rambling on and saying the same thing over and over again, so I apologize, but I recommend them. If you can find them, especially on sale, I think they're totally worth it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like and share this video, and please subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Legacy figures from the Power Rangers movie, and as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.